Hello, and welcome to ET Deep Dive, ET's best reported stories in audio. Today's episode is based on Teena Thacker's report on how a batch of fake oxytocin injections, vials that were supposed to contain a life-saving drug but held nothing but water, led to the deaths of 5 young mothers in Kota, Rajasthan, within a span of just 12 days. It's Sunday, the 5th of July. I'm Anirban Chowdhury. This is the Morning Brief. We were waiting for our first child to arrive, says Ravi Nayak, a 25-year-old mason in Kota, Rajasthan, his voice trailing off in anguish. When his wife Jyoti Verma developed labor pains on May 4th, he rushed her to the new medical college hospital. The next day, the 20-year-old underwent a caesarean section and delivered a healthy baby boy. Mother and child were fine. Nayak sighed with relief. Doctors prescribed oxytocin for Verma shortly after delivery. An injection of synthetic oxytocin is widely used in childbirth to induce labor as well as to prevent and treat postpartum hemorrhage. That one shot allegedly changed everything for the young woman. Within hours, recalls Nayak, the wife's blood pressure sank. As he screamed for help, her vitals showed distress signals. Soon, her kidneys began to fail, forcing doctors to opt for an emergency dialysis. They placed a temporary catheter in her jugular vein for hemodialysis, but all efforts were in vain. A profusely bleeding Jyoti passed away on May 7th, just 2 days after giving birth, leaving behind a newborn that will never know his mother. मेरे पास तो निशानी छोड़ गई है, says Nayak, as his mother gives the 2-month-old baby powdered milk. Jyoti's postmortem report offers no clear answers to her death. A terse line says, pending till receipt of histopathology report and detailed treatment report made available. Her death remains officially undetermined. But it was not just Jyoti. 4 other young women, all in their 20s, died in hospitals in Kota after delivery through C-section. One of them died in JK Lone Hospital and all the others in New Medical College Hospital. Priya Mahavar, 20 years old, died within hours of being shifted to the general ward of JK Lone Hospital, says her husband Rohit. He recalls that an injection was administered to her. In a few minutes, he says, she turned black and her pulse stopped. Rohit travels every day from his home in Bundi to work in Kota and makes just about 8,000 rupees a month. He is torn between grief, back-breaking work, and the responsibility of bringing up a baby alone. All the 5 women who died in a span of 12 days between May 5th and 17th in Kota belong to families of daily wagers who do not know whom to sue and how to demand justice. 8 other women who reportedly received oxytocin at the super specialty wing of the Government Medical College for complications and are fighting for their lives. The needle of suspicion pointed to the oxytocin injection that was being administered to all these women. Inspectors of Rajasthan's Food Safety and Drug Control Commissionerate sent oxytocin samples from the Kota hospitals to a state government laboratory. On May 25th, the state's drug controller issued an alert. The oxytocin samples did not contain oxytocin. The vials just had water. The batch was tested and found not of standard quality. The vials were labeled as a life-saving drug. They contained none of the active ingredient meant to be in them, the report says. The case around the deaths of 5 young mothers in Rajasthan had widened into a probe into a Punjab-based company that manufactured the oxytocin injections used in the Kota hospitals. The name of the company is Jackson Laboratories. At the center of the investigation is its brand called Tocin, batch number I7881. Soon after the alert by the Rajasthan authorities, a 6-member joint inspection team from the Punjab Food and Drugs Administration, or FDA, and the Central Drug Standard Control Organization, CDSCO, descended on Jackson Laboratories facility in Amritsar. They found end-to-end manufacturing lapses, failure in quality control, and deliberate falsification of records. On June 3rd, the licensing authority cancelled the manufacturing license of Jackson Laboratories' Amritsar unit. On June 23rd, the license of its unit in Baddi, Himachal Pradesh was also cancelled with immediate effect. According to documents accessed by ET, both sites have been slammed by state regulatory agencies for a pattern of sustained, unchecked manufacturing violations. Jackson Laboratories has not responded to queries from ET. However, according to media reports, the company has claimed to have adhered to standard manufacturing practices and challenged the findings of the Rajasthan government laboratory. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization has sought reports from the Indian government on the oxytocin injection in case its batches have been exported to other nations. Amulya Nidhi, national convener of the public health advocacy group Jan Swasthya Abhiyan India, says the charges of spurious oxytocin are alarming. He has written to the Chief Minister and the Health Minister of Rajasthan about alleged negligence and regulatory failure. He says, this points to a serious failure of drug regulation and public health governance. The cancellation of the manufacturer's license must be followed by a transparent investigation and strict action against all those who are responsible. He has urged the government to strengthen drug quality surveillance, ensure accountability, and prevent such avoidable tragedies from recurring. The probe into Jackson Laboratories began with a review of control samples from 80 ampoules in 2 boxes of 40 each. They found worrying discrepancies. The 2 boxes had conflicting packaging information like different storage instructions, although they contained the same batch of the same drug. This raised questions about the product being sold. The report also flags a warning in the label that says, "Do not use if the solution is discolored," when oxytocin is a clear, colorless liquid. The authorities say that statement suggests the label was not properly checked. The investigating team found other incongruities. According to Jackson Laboratories' certificate of analysis, the batch was tested and released on December 8, 2025. However, the company's own quality control register showed the sample was received in the lab 9 days later, on December 17th. There was more. A high-performance liquid chromatography machine was used for testing and analysis. However, there was no record of such a test in the machine's software. Investigators instead found the test was conducted in a different machine, one that had been installed just days before testing began. It had never been calibrated and showed signs of a deliberately altered audit trail. Dates were changed, entries were deleted, and the system was reportedly configured to avoid the traceability of activities performed on the instrument. This is according to documents seen by ET. Investigators also found that wrong equipment and standards were used for lab tests, which could compromise results. A 150mm chromatography column was used instead of the required 100mm, according to Indian pharmacopoeia rules. Also, the company's own paperwork says they injected 100 microliters of the sample during testing instead of the prescribed 100 picoliters. A microliter is 1,000,000 times bigger than a picoliter. Investigators suspect that either the test was not conducted properly or that the records were mindlessly copied, raising questions about data integrity. They could not find any reference standard for oxytocin nor any data for the mandatory vasopressin impurity test. The purchase records of the active pharmaceutical ingredient, or API, were also sketchy. 60 liters of oxytocin API were purchased from a company called Hemo Pharmaceuticals on June 2, 2025. However, investigators found no raw data for the test that certified it. They say it was fabricated, fake test data. Moreover, API requires cold storage, but the inspectors found no temperature monitoring records whatsoever. What's more, when the inspectors went into the quality control lab, they saw an operator copying entries from old logbooks into new ones. Quality assurance did not have any oversight of logbooks which had no issuance register or controlling signatures pointing to possible data manipulation. The inspection report concluded that a strong possibility for any changes and manipulations cannot be ruled out, rendering the firm's manufacturing, quality control, stores, and microbiology records in question and something which cannot be trusted or relied upon. Investigators said they could not even confirm that the API had been properly weighed and dispensed into the batch. The issuance slip was missing weights, dates, time, and signatures entirely. Now, there is a history of violations. What is concerning that this is not the first time Jackson Laboratories has been hauled up for manufacturing substandard drugs and ordered to stop production. Government records seen by ET show the company has a history of serious violations and data fabrication. Worse, despite regulatory actions, the management of Jackson Laboratories paid absolutely no heed to orders for a complete halt of production. It began 3 years ago. A joint inspection team of CDSCO and Punjab FDA audited its Amritsar facility and found it to be grossly deficient in compliance with GMP, or Good Manufacturing Practices, and GLP, or Good Laboratory Practices norms. It was found to be in violation of something called Schedule M Part 1A, Schedule U, and Rules 74 and 78 of the Drug Rules 1945. These rules cover manufacturing standards, protocols for keeping records, and conditions for drug manufacturing licenses. In March 2023, a show cause notice was served along with a stop production order. The firm was asked to immediately halt the manufacturing of small volume parenterals or sterile injections, external preparations and beta-lactam antibiotics, sex hormones, steroid tablets, and capsules. Jackson Laboratories did not appeal against that order. The company instead chose to disregard it and egregiously continued production from the same facility. Soon, in August 2023, AIIMS Jodhpur complained that Jackson Laboratories' caffeine citrate injection used in neonatal intensive care units had caused infections in newborns. A sample was tested and declared as grossly substandard with respect to BET, or bacterial endotoxin tests, and sterility parameters. A further inspection by state agencies in August 23 to 25, 2023 uncovered serious GMP violations, including unclassified manufacturing areas, lack of environmental monitoring, and poor aseptic practices. An interim stop manufacturing order was passed for its sterile injections. A final order came on August 13, 2023. The company was ordered not to conduct any manufacturing activity. Otherwise, they would cancel its drug manufacturing license or initiate legal action against it. The company did not take any steps to rectify the shortcomings observed by the regulatory authorities. Jackson's Baddi unit in Himachal Pradesh was no different. An inspection in August 2023 revealed that 3 out of 11 drugs tested were grossly substandard. The same irregularities were found in 2024 and 25. An inspection of liquid oral drugs and cough syrup section in December 2025 found that its renovation work was incomplete and the HVAC, heating, ventilation and air conditioning system was non-compliant. Production in that section was ordered to be halted in January this year. A compliance report submitted by the firm later that month was found to be inadequate by CDSCO's Baddi unit in March 2026, which then asked for a detailed point-by-point documentation. Jackson Laboratories has been a repeat offender and has been flagrantly flouting the directions of the drug control authorities under their very noses. Spurious or contaminated drugs have played havoc with public health time and again and resulted in tragic fatalities. In 2024, 5 women who had C-section died of multi-organ failure in Ballari, Karnataka after they were administered a contaminated intravenous solution called Ringer's lactate. Later that year, spurious cough syrups laced with a toxic industrial chemical killed nearly 24 children in Indore. Similar incidents were also reported in African nations, raising concerns worldwide over the quality of drugs made in India. The Indian oxytocin market is valued at just 42 crore rupees, according to the market research firm PharmaTrack. It is an alarmingly small market for a drug that is administered to nearly every woman who delivers a child in hospitals across the country. The organized, branded generic segment is dominated by a handful of companies: Pfizer, Viatris, Neon Laboratories, Manish Pharma, and Karnataka Antibiotics and Pharmaceuticals Limited. Several other manufacturers, Zydus, Mercury Healthcare, Laborate, Themis and Talk, have reduced their production of oxytocin or exited the segment entirely, shrinking the pool of large, traceable producers. The dwindling of the formal market, say industry insiders, has opened up space for a parallel and opaque supply chain to take root. Like Jackson, there are many players in the grey or under the radar market, says an industry insider familiar with the sector. In places like Gaya in Bihar, oxytocin is manufactured in small factories that follow absolutely no standards and are completely unregulated, adds the insider. He points to firms that work under little or no oversight and distribute drugs through channels that rarely find mention in official data or inspection schedules until something goes catastrophically wrong. Five women died. A newborn will grow up without his mother. And the company responsible had been caught, warned, and ordered to stop production 3 years earlier. It kept manufacturing anyway. Until India fixes who enforces these orders and how, the next vial of medicine could just as easily be poison. That's it for today. You were listening to the latest ET Deep Dive. This was reported by Teena Thacker, narrated for audio by me, Anirban Chowdhury, sound designed by Amrit Reggie. Keep listening to our podcasts on your favorite listening platforms. Stay tuned.